Hey, Sir Charles Carey here. And if you're anything like I was when I grew up, I never knew exactly what I was going to be, what I was going to do, what my life would consist of. And a lot of times we simply don't know for a long time what we flourish in, what we're really good at, what we excel at. And if you're like that and you are an adult, this episode is for you because I want to know what's your it, right? What simply is your it? Many people, again, have full lives, gone to college, and still don't know what's their it. So let's talk about what's your it. So as I talk about what's your it, I want to know, what simply do you do? What is that thing? What's the thing for you that it seems to be so important that it's your livelihood? It has housed you. It has afforded you the ability to have a car, clothing, and go on trip. All these things, right? And if you've done that because of your it, how happy or how satisfied are you? Now, let me say this before I really go any further. Many of us have an it or have something, but for some reason, milestone, failure, life crisis, we shift, we transition, we simply change. And there's nothing wrong with that. But whatever your it is, it's always best when it's meaningful to you, when you just can't separate yourself from it. Your conversations are about it. Your thoughts are upon it. You may even wake up and just can't help yourself because you're so attached to it. You're so dialed in. So let me say this: if you know you're it, that's great. But again, are you fulfilled in it? See, many of us, we want something so bad and we want to fit in, and we find ourselves attached with what they do, what they say. Mom and them, my big brother, what's trendy, what's fashionable, what's the current fad. And unfortunately, we find ourselves doing that for quite a period of time, and we're not fulfilled. So if you're one of those type of people, or if you've done that and you're still not really where you want to be, I think it's important you understand the importance of identifying your unique thing. Now, I call it a sweet spot. Some people say that's not a politically correct term to use when you're talking business, and I understand that. But if you're talking business and you hear a term that's not the standard jargon, let's be realistic. We know what the subject is, we know where we're going, and sometimes fashionable terminology makes things more interesting than the old brick and mortar, cold, bare bone, stone conversation with vocabulary to match. And one of the things I found is that you have to learn to be true to yourself. I was talking about and thinking about doing a talk on how simple things work. And there's a phrase that says, to thine own self be true. I'm sure you may have heard it, but you probably don't hear it very often. But a phrase as simple as that will help you go where you need to go. And here's what I mean. When identifying the thing that you're good at, you want to keep it simple, keep it basic. It doesn't have to be sophisticated. It does not have to be complicated. But if you are honest with yourself and you look at things on terms of how they are, then you can get what you want out of almost any situation. And as it relates to your business or your career development, I think that's probably one of the smartest things you can do. This episode is sponsored by our upcoming webinar, 5 Reasons Your Dreams Never See the Light of Day. It's a Truality Enterprise Ventures, and we want you to get the information and the insight you really need. Look for the link in the description. Because if you're trying to decide, what am I going to do that's going to truly sustain me? What am I going to do that's not only going to sustain me, but make me happy. Allow me to feel fulfilled as I'm building my life, especially if I'm building my life with someone else. I can enjoy it and enjoy it with that person or with those people, usually your family, right? Your children, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe even siblings and offspring and parents, right? Generations even. So identifying your sweet spot or your main focus is a very important thing. When I do keynotes and workshops, there's a question I ask each audience. I don't think I've ever forgotten to ask the question. It's a two-part question. And here is that question for you. So if you got a pen and paper, write it down. If you got a Evernote or Penzu or your phone, if you're not watching this on your phone, record the question so that you can answer yourself honestly. Now you can answer me, I'm cool with it, but this is for you to get the wheels turning. Ready? All right, here we go. What is the thing that you talk about more than anything else? And when you talk about it, you light up inside. I mean, an actual smile comes to your face, just like I'm smiling as I'm saying this, right? What is that thing? And let me say it again for those of you that felt it was too quick, or even if you're watching the replay, so that you don't have to stop and rewind. Let's say it again. What is the thing that you talk about more than anything else? And when you talk about it, you smile inside, and maybe a smile even comes to your face. Whatever that thing is, I promise you, you may have just met your purpose. And I do understand once you identify it, you may get an aha and oh wow, or I knew I should have done that. And you may feel that, well, I've been doing what I'm currently doing too long to change. Well, that's not necessarily true, depending on what you're doing and how you go about it. Because having an action and a vision plan, as Bishop David Sabatino says, that is everything. And there's more to it. I would love to break down more, but I don't want to keep you hostage all day as we're discussing what's your it. But I know that, excuse me, but I know that it's really important. I know that it's personal. And I know that for some of us, we may even feel it's crucial. Now, depending whether you're a driven person or not, some people don't find these topics as interesting or as meaningful. They're entitled to their opinion, but I feel differently. So, answer that question. And if you have time, give yourself, I don't know, take 10, 15 minutes. I mean, your entire life or your entire career may be at stake. Can't you risk 15 minutes or more to ask yourself that question honestly and write down the things that come to mind? Because I have another response to that answer, because for some of us, that is very difficult. So for some of us, we do more than one thing. And if you're doing more than one thing, the truth of the matter is, you may need what's called, well, I shouldn't even say you may need, you're going to need balance. And the reason is because you want to make the main thing the main thing. And if the main thing is the fact that what you're currently doing, you don't love it, but it is the thing that makes the money, you want to find a way of saving or shifting some of that money to finance or hold you over as you transition into the new space that you want to be in. And if you are doing more than one thing, then you need to realize that my time must be effectively utilized as to not upset the proverbial apple cart, so that you're still getting things done, your lifestyle isn't upset, and you're really fulfilled on the inside. That is more than fair to yourself and hopefully to your household, especially if you have a family. So once you begin this process and you've identified what it is that you're going to do or what it is that you want to do, you have to understand something. You want to treat it literally like a business if it's not a traditional business. If it's an entrepreneurial endeavor, which can be a business, you have to literally treat it like a business. And I'm talking about your timing. How much time do you put into it? How much do you really know about it? Are you being thorough as you're dealing with this? Is your approach a professional approach? Is your timing scheduled time? And are you keeping your word, right? As far as doing it, following up on it. You've made the grand announcement. You're being known, or you're trying to make yourself, your voice, your brand known for doing this particular thing. All those components are really critical in your new endeavor. Again, if it's a career or like a job, well, that's going to speak for itself, because you go from one stream of income to another stream of income, hopefully without a disruption in pay. But if it's an entrepreneurial endeavor and you've been wanting to do this all of your life, and you've only been, thinking about it, and it's been resting in the back of your mind, you have to do yourself the due justice to say, let me at least look into it and give it an honest effort. And then all the other things I'm talking about as far as scheduling and being knowledgeable about the area of interest, all those things come into play, being professional, etc. Now, that's treating it like a business. But guess what? As the commercial says, wait, there's more. And the more is, it still may not be considered a business. You have to be willing and have the know-how to actually turn it into a business. And that's where, I come in as far as with teaching people and training people. I've worked with many people. A lot of people I've worked with have been in ministry, and I've shown them how to treat their business like an actual business, especially if it's their first venture or they've never gone down this path before. And turning your business into a business does require for you to treat it like a business. So that's a big plus if you're doing that. But you need to have the foundation right. You need to have your infrastructure in place. And a lot of us don't know that. We know of this or that, different little things we've heard. But there's things like your taxes. There's things like, your finances. How are your finances structured? Is it in place? Is your business legally known in your state as a business? And all of these things literally are crucial, especially if you want to be respected as a business, if you expect to pursue this as a business and continue and be successful in business. But many of us simply don't know what we don't know. And because we don't know, sometimes you hit a little bump in the road and it all caves in, and it seems to go away as if it never existed anyway. And if it wasn't on the books, it almost did not exist. Sorry to tell you. So let's treat your business, your new venture, your entrepreneurial endeavor the right way. So the next time someone wants to know, what's your it? What's your thing? What's your sweet spot? What is it that you do? What is it that you're known for? Not only will you be known for it, but you can have a conversation about it, which speaks volumes. And you may be speaking to a potential customer or client. So again, that's it for what's your it. And I look forward to, sharing more with you. Look down in the description, because we had a program coming up, a webinar actually, to walk you through the steps on how to develop your it factor, right? So you can be a part of the solution in the world versus following everyone else around, as they say, like a chicken with its head cut off, not knowing or wishing you had jumped into the endeavor of your dreams. With that being said, I am Sir Charles Carey, and I look forward to talking to you very soon. Check the description, and if there's any questions, please feel free to drop them on me. I'll talk to you soon. Radiate the brain and change the game. We'll see you next time.